Today we're having a work session all about viral videos. That's viral TikToks, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, you name it, we're going to cover it today. Now, if this topic interests you, there are worksheets that go along with this program. We'll go through these one by one, but each of these can be downloaded if you go to brandsonbrands.com/viral videos, or if you're on YouTube or on a social channel, just click the link at the bottom of the page and we'll send that right off to you. The reason we want to jump into viral videos is this is the easiest content to make that can drive the most attention for your business quickly. A lot of people are creating long form content, long YouTube videos, long podcasts, because they're easy to make. But getting those things noticed, not as easy. Viral videos are an easy and cost-effective way to get some attention on what you're making. So let's check it out. So your viral video system is going to start with spotlight videos. Spotlight videos are going to be that content that is the most important content on your website. So what is the video that most easily conveys who you are, what you stand for, and what you help people with? Those are spotlight videos. Usually it's some kind of video that's your how-to guide or your ultimate way to XYZ problem, right? How do you solve that problem? So that guide, that 5-step list, those are your spotlight videos. The point here is that we aren't looking for every video you make to be viral. We're looking for 3 or 4 key videos to be the standout ones that get a lot of attention. So let's look at a production grid for the videos we're talking about. So your spotlight videos, as we mentioned, what you're going to do is look at what you can do to find what are your top 5 videos from the past that you've created or for the future that you want to create, and write those down. And it could be 3, it could be 1 if you're just getting started, but ultimately let's have 5 as the goal for the videos that we want to be pulling from to create viral content. And then we're going to jump into repurposed clips. Repurposed clips are going to say what out of those spotlight videos within that, say, 20 minutes of content can I cut out as 1-minute clips. So they're going to be 60 seconds or 1 minute or less. And it's a particular train of thought that stands out and that gets you noticed. So find that standout 60-second clip. Usually you'll find 3 or 4 or 5 in a video. So list what those are out, and we're going to look for those. The next is promotional clips. These are going to be things that are new videos that you record after the fact that are teasers that explain an important point from the longer form content. What's great is it's very personal because you're going to be creating this as a one-to-one, you talking to the camera video in a style that is engaging and grabs people's attention. And it is also 60 seconds or less. So we have repurposed clips, which are pulled from already recorded content. And we have promotional clips, which are being created from scratch, which you can do very quickly. And then last, you're going to have rebooted clips, which are finding the winners from the other clips that you've already aired, and you're going to re-air them. It could be 3 times, it could be 4 times or more. But let's say you have a feeling that this is something that's really should work. It's really going to work. It just hasn't yet. So you're going to try a couple things to re-air it or even to remix it to make it better. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But first, let's jump into repurposed clips. So what is a repurposed clip specifically, and how does this work? So a repurposed clip is anything that you say, I'm going to take something long form and I'm going to chop it up into smaller pieces. This is advice you're going to find all over the internet, but it is something that you can build a system for that makes it easier, because the problem is this takes a lot of time for most people. So we're going to give you a simple way to do this today that should make this a little easier. So my repurposing process is a 5-step system that is very simple, and I call it making the stuff, right? And how does that work? Well, it starts with skimming and trimming your content. What does that mean? It means you take your content, your video content, and you transcribe it into text form. Why text form? Well, text is a lot faster to edit than video. And there are transcription tools where you can edit text instead of video, and it edits the video for you. So we'll talk about some of those tools in a minute. But essentially, you can skim a piece of content 4 to 8 times faster, especially if you're skipping through some of it, than you can just looking at a video. So skimming content is the first piece, and then trimming the things you find down to just 1-minute clips that you can pull out and do some editing to. That third step is update. After you've done skim and trim, then you're going to update it, which is just little corrections. This is going to be fixing words if they need to be fixed. This is going to be fixing typos or little grammatical problems. This is going to be slight edits, anything you're going to need to make this presentable. And then framing takes a similar piece. This is where you're adding things to what's already created. You might be adding some kind of creative elements on top of this, or sound effects or emojis or captions. We'll get into that as well. And then last is scheduling it and letting it be released, which we call fly. So skim, trim, update, frame, and fly. That's our process. So skim, trim, and update. We use two simple tools here, Descript and or Opus Clip. Now, why are there two tools? Well, Descript is a tool that I use as a powerhouse tool that takes my video, transcribes it into text form, and I edit it right there in the document, and it edits the video for me using AI. So very simple way to be very in control of what the content is. Opus Clip is a different tool. What Opus Clip does is it edits for you without your input. So it takes the ball, runs with it, and says, okay, here's 20 clips from that content you sent, and here's what we think based on AI that stands out in this clip. Now you have to go through and sort through what they picked and say, out of these 20, maybe one or two of them were winners. Maybe I need to tweak them a little bit and see what it outputs. But you can automate it with Opus Clip, or you can do it more manually with Descript. Both can be worked out to be pretty fast processes. But leveraging tools like this is what makes the process a lot faster. And now when you get to the frame and fly section, this is where you take that video that's been edited and you make it nicer to look at. Tools like Canva or repurpose.io help you with that process. What Canva does is it gives you the option of adding graphical elements to it. It could be video elements, it could be memes, it could be whatever you want to make it look like something that stands out and grabs your attention. And repurpose.io is a tool that helps you post it in more than one place. So if you post it on TikTok, for example, repurpose.io will take that and repost it to other channels like Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts. So you post once and it does the work to post it everywhere else. Second is promotional clips. So we talked about repurpose clips. The second is going to be promotional clips. Now, promotional clips, as we mentioned, are the things that you're going to be looking at the camera yourself and making a more direct video. Now, there is a formula for making this actually grab people's attention, because just talking to a camera isn't enough. We have a 4-step process. After you have the concept of the video pulled out, you know what the main idea is. You're going to be recording this from scratch, and you're going to look at 4 steps. The first step is, what is my hook? We'll talk about hooks in a second, but how am I grabbing people's attention? The second is, how am I setting up the scenes? What's happening second, third, and fourth in my video? And then how am I adding captions to this so that the words grab people's attention? And then what B-roll can I add to make this more exciting? So let's talk about your hook. I'll tell you, every time I help people with video, the hook is something that gets ignored. People think they have interesting things to say, but they just start talking. You have to grab people's attention. You have to start with little ideas like, hey, did you know? And then fill in the blank. Or, hey, you need to hear about this. Like, start your video with a word or a phrase that brings people in and makes them want to know more. We look at 3 ways to do this, and I have a list of scripts to help you get started right here in this worksheet. And I break them into 3 groups. The first group is curiosity hooks. These are things that you say, okay, what can I say that's going to make people want to wait till the end of the video? The second is called promise hooks, which is you saying, hey, this is going to help you have this kind of transformation. Just listen. And the third kind of hook is a how-to hook. It's here are 3 ways to get this thing done. So here are some examples of those right here in the worksheet. So curiosity hooks. Here's a couple of them that you could try out yourself. Start the video by saying, you need to hear this. Or, I bet you didn't know, but... Or, the craziest thing that happened to me this week was... How can you say things like this that get people excited to learn more? Here are some examples of promise hooks. Hey, quick hack for you. Or, this is going to blow your mind. or don't start your day without. Now, word to the wise. There are some hooks that are fun to say, like, this is so crazy, it should be illegal. But just know that if you use words like illegal or other words that might get flagged by the system, it's gonna hurt your content. It might even get your account banned. So stay away from things that are like a little scandalous, right? All right. And then how-to hooks. Things like, hey, save this video or watch this tutorial on. So people know right off the bat they're getting some helpful step-by-step information on a particular topic. Try this new, fill in the blank, right? So these are hooks that you can steal, try them out, see what works for you, add different intonations and inflections, try to get in character a little bit, and have some fun with it. And then as you play with it, you can write your own down on the sheet too. There are some spots here at the bottom for you to just fill in what creatively comes to you. And ideally, after you do this over and over again, you start to make it your own. Scenes. So every video should have scenes. As we mentioned, it helps to start with a hook and bring people in. And then you're going to have scene 1 and 2 and 3, and it could be 4, it could be a little less, but you're going to say what's going to happen first, and then second, and then third. If it's step-by-step tips, then that makes it easy. If it's not, then just make sure there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And that middle might just be a supporting point for the thing you said in the beginning, and the end might just be a conclusion or a call to action, right? Or summarizing what you've already said. What's important is that you lay them out and you know what you're going to talk about first, second, and third so that you can get through the video quickly. Speed matters when you're doing short videos. So say the hook, go through scenes 1, 2, and 3, and then have a call to action. The call to action is going to depend on what you're interested in having people do next. It might just be watch another video or go to my website. That's up to you. But make sure you tell them to do something or they're just going to keep scrolling. And then last, you're going to have to fill in a description of your video. This is going to be where you say what the video is about so that the algorithm knows what you're talking about. And you can even put a URL right there into the description or have that URL embedded in your bio so that people can find the thing that you're promoting. Next, we'll talk about the captions process. Captions are going to be the words that start to fill in what you're saying right there on the screen. So every time you talk, the words are popping up on the screen in case they're watching this video with mute on, which happens a lot of the time. Having that caption there is critical for videos to have the potential to go viral. But those captions could also hurt you if you don't do some of these simple steps, and they're very easy to do. One is called spell check, right? How do we make sure we're spelling the words right? And the next is emojis. Captions can be created easily with a couple of tools. One is called CapCut. That's where you take your whole video and you drop it into this program and it creates captions for you. You can also do it right there in Descript if that's the tool you're using, like I mentioned before. It also has a captions program. And sometimes even the social media tools themselves will caption for you if you don't caption it yourself. I know YouTube as well as LinkedIn, if you're airing videos there, they create captions for you. The thing is that the captions these other tools create aren't always super interesting, where a tool like CapCut can get in there and actually create more creatively the fonts and the sizes of these things so that they grab your attention. And you can even add emojis sometimes based on the words that are in the text itself. And then you have tools like Grammarly. Just make sure that you are spell checking everything so that the words aren't off and people are paying attention to your ideas instead of your mistakes. The next thing we're going to talk about is your B-roll process. What's B-roll? These are the things that you put on top of the video, which might be some other video or graphic or meme that catches people's interest and distracts them while you're talking. So just staring at one person talking for 60 seconds with no other imagery can be a little boring. That's why when I'm talking to you here, we sometimes zoom into the presentation, we sometimes zoom out and we have face-to-face. But if while I'm talking to you, I then roll a video over this screen right here and you see something else happening and then it zooms back to me, that's adding B-roll. Now there are a lot of tools that have B-roll. There are simple places to get them like Descript if you're using that. It's built right into the tool itself, but also Canva. It's a graphic design tool primarily, but if you pop your videos into there, you can add B-roll to them as there as well. Or just Google B-roll And there are places where you could subscribe to download things that you can embed in your videos as well. Okay, and third, we're going to talk about rebooted clips. Rebooted clips are the clips that you already know are doing well and you want to re-air them. Honestly, sometimes things aren't doing well, but you know they should, so you want to rebroadcast them anyway, and you definitely should do that. I've met many creators who've tried to air something a second and third time, and it was the third time that it really exploded. So if you know you've got something good, go ahead and re-air it. It's okay in this format. The reason it's okay in this format is not everyone sees the thing you posted every time, especially on these short format videos like TikTok and Reels. A lot of the time they're showing your videos to new people. And because it's new person, they haven't seen something you've aired before because they're not subscribed to your channel. They're not a follower of your channel. So it's okay, take the risk, re-air it twice or three times, and you can do it in a couple ways. You can re-air it as is, or you can remake it. You can make it something different, or you can take that same idea and you can reshoot it as a brand new concept. How you air it's up to you. So I created this grid, called it the Reboot Tracker, and you can say, okay, what are my posts that are doing well? Let me look back at my TikTok and say, okay, over the past 10 postings, 20 postings, what did better than the others? Write that down on this list. Then go to your Instagram and do the same thing. What out of my last 10 or 12 postings, what did well? And then go to your YouTube Shorts and do the same thing. Because sometimes something will do well on one channel, but it won't do well on the others. So look at them independently, write some of them down, and see, hey, was there anything about this that was a reason it did well? What can I do to make this better? Like it did okay and I want it to do better, so maybe I can record the hook again and start the video slightly differently. Maybe I can add more emojis to this, or I can change the middle of the video. Look at ways to take what you have and either repost them, reskin them, or reshoot them completely. Same idea, but you starting from scratch and just recording a new 1-minute video. Use this tracker to start to write down what the things are that you're most excited about reshooting, reposting, and reskinning. I'll tell you, it's these simple things that people overlook that make the difference between something really succeeding and it not having a chance in the first place. You have good ideas, but people need to be pulled into your content. And sometimes it's just a simple act of re-airing it or slightly changing something that turns that minute video into something that really people want to watch. So take a chance, gamble on yourself, and create some things that work. So to recap the three, we have repurposed videos, which are videos from content you've already created. We have promotional videos, which are videos you take from scratch and you just record based on content you've made. You record something brand new and share those same ideas. Or you take the videos that you've already aired, either of those two, and you rebroadcast them with a slight tweak or remix in some way. That's my ideas for you today. We do have notes for you in this worksheet as well, where you can say what were the things that stood out to you in the learning, what were your takeaways, and what are some actions you're going to take. Write those down, hold yourself accountable to them, and hopefully that helped you today. If you want to get these worksheets again, go to brandsonbrands.com/viral video and download the worksheet so that you can take this with you and have the same process that I use to help you build videos that work, that are easy to do, that don't take you a lot of time. I hope you guys found that valuable today, and thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.